What's up, guys? UFC 316 is this weekend, and I'm here to break down the fights and go over the card, give betting advice based on what I think is going to happen for each fight. We're gonna start breaking down the fights based or with the early prelims, end with the main event, and then we'll move into like how the channel's doing. Also, first, I have an announcement. I am going to be posting my tapology link in the description below. When I do this, starting this weekend, whoever wins the tapology group, like whoever has the most points in our tapology group, I am personally going to send out that many dollars to the winner of that week, being the amount of subscribers that I have on YouTube. So right now that would be 8. So I mean, hey, it's something. Not a horrible thing. So just something to keep in mind. If you guys like, subscribe, that, or if you guys subscribe at least, that goes up more. Um, and if you guys join the Tapology group, you have a chance to make the money. So hey, it's something. Um, anyways, we're going to move into the fights now, and we're going to start with Markel Maderos versus Mark Chewinski. Mark Chewinski making his debut. He's beaten some decent fighters on the regional scene, but nothing too much to write home about. I'm going to be picking Markel Maderos to win this fight. And I think he's going to play a patient game. But I also think that once he figures out that this kid's not ready for the UFC's level, he's going to start putting a real beating on him. May look for a later round stoppage, maybe round 2, round 3. Yeah. I've got Markel Maderos by whatever he wants at this point, at least in the first fight of the night. I think that he's actually a good Dana White's Contender Series fighter. Moving on, we will move to Quillan Salkild versus Yanul Ashmuz. Yanul has a couple good wins, a couple decent wins, I guess I should say. One over Trevor Peek, one over Sam Patterson. Quillan Salkild has beaten the great Anshul Jabli. He is massive in comparison to Yanul Ashmuz. I think he's going to be able to keep his range a little better than most other guys can. But Yanul might be able to clip him with one of those big shots like he did with Sam Patterson. I will be picking Salkild. I think this is a lot closer than the odds have this out to be. This isn't a fight I would throw on my parlay, honestly. Like, this is not something to add. I think that Ashmuz could actually get the job done, but I'm going to be picking Salkild by round 1 knockout. I think he's going to land the big shots early. His frame's just going to be a bit much, and his skill set is pretty good. We move on to the featherweight division. We've got Jekka Sergi versus Ju Sang Yu. Massive favorite in Ju Sang Yu. I think this was the guy that fought on Zombie Fight Night. He was on the episode of Dana White's Looking for a Fight that just aired. He looked very good in that. His record is kind of not padded in a sense, but he has fought guys who have a lot of experience who are just also not great. But he at least beat them, and that's something that most of these other Asian dudes in these like smaller regional promotions just can't seem to get over, and that's why they don't have as many prospects. Well, I think Ju Sang Yu is going to be able to get the job done. This is a guy who got KO'd by Anshul Jabli, and was also submitted by Weston Wilson. I'm going to pick Ju Sang Yu by round 1 knockout. I think this is going to be a heater of a card based on the picks that I have set up. It just feels like this is going to be absolute fire. Every fight's going to be a firefight. finish, it feels like. There are a few decisions that I've picked out, but, I think Ju Sang-yu has this. He looked very, very good, although it's hard to tell with Dana White's, not Contender Series, looking for a fight because they only show highlights. They don't really show other, means of, they don't show a full fight. They don't show the full fight. You can't tell where he was bad and you can only see the spots where he was really good. But I'm going to be picking Ju Sang-yu. He's South Korean as well, which gives me some hope in his Asian descent actually being able to fight. As a male. Because Wang Kong can fight and she's a female Asian that's not South Korean. Anyways, we'll move on to Wang Kong. We've got Ariane Lipski da Silva versus Wang Kong, whatever you want to call her. Gorilla Cock is her real name. If I were breaking this down normally, I would just pick Wang Kong. She's a real fighter, quote unquote, and Ariane Lipski sucks, but hey, it's Wang Kong. I'm going to be picking her by finish. I think she's just going to beat down Lipski over time. I think this is a pretty solid, easy finish. She could get a submission. Maybe she beats up Lipski. Lipski shoots for a takedown and then gets guillotined, something like that. Look for a finish, though, from Wang Kong. Plus, the women's prelims fights have been absolutely great lately and full of finishes, to be fair. And if they're not, it has been a war, which has been really weird. Like, the old women in the UFC still aren't performing good, but these new girls, they're performing like vintage 2005 Chuck Liddell. They're trying to come out here and go to war. But I do think that the women's era is now in that like early 2000s era where like they have one skill set that they're okay at, but they choose not to really use it and just go to war. I'm loving it. Anyways, moving on to the welterweight division, we've got Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. I will be picking. This is actually a tough one. I think I'm going to pick Chaos Williams just because of the experience in the UFC. Gustafsson is one of these guys from the Contender Series. I don't believe he has not had his first fight quite in the UFC yet. And he's 34 years old. He's either going to come out extremely aggressive and try. I mean, both of them, I assume, are going to come out extremely aggressive. But I just think Chaos Williams, proven vet. He's not the best fighter. That's for sure. But when it comes to knockout power, I think he has a lot of it, and not a lot of ways of setting up his knockouts. But Gustafsson's just coming off Contender Series, and I can't trust a guy like that just yet. Especially debuting against a guy with the experience of Chaos Williams. We're going to move up to heavyweight. Still on the prelims. We've got Sergey Spivak versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. This is actually a difficult fight to call. Because Waldo Cortez Acosta is one of these smart heavyweights. Even though he's a blob, he's smart. He will grapple you if he does what it takes to win. But there's just a level of heavyweight that I think beats him. And I think Sergey Spivak's on that level. Sergey, he beats guys that are less athletic than him. He will beat you if you're less athletic than him. And Waldo Cortez Acosta is, I'm going to say, not as athletic as Sergey. Plus, his ground game's just not as finish-oriented. If Sergey Spivak gets Waldo Cortez Acosta down to the ground, it probably is over. I would say it's going to be a submission or TKO at that point. But that's because he was able to get down Gelton Almeida and do pretty well against him before getting outboxed by him. I wish Gelton Almeida would have showed his boxing in any other fight ahead of that, but whatever. I've got Sergey Spivak by submission, and I think it's going to take I think it's going to be either in the first or second round, early in the second round if it happens in the second. I'm going to be going with first round, though. Maybe look for Sergey to wear him down a little more than immediately going for a submission, though. So maybe round 2. We move up to, or down to the light heavyweight division. We've got Azamat Murzakanov versus Brinson Ribeiro. I don't know why they even booked this matchup. This seems like one of the easiest picks to ever. If you've ever picked fight picks, you're gonna pick Azamat Murzakanov by a round 1 knockout, and it's because this dude's really good. Murzakanov is one of these guys who has incredible striking. His hands are really fast too. He's very small, like he's a nugget of a human being. Like he is a tiny little, just like compact ball of energy, and tiny reach, but it explains why he's so fast. I'm going to be picking Murzakanov by round 1 knockout. Ribeiro's just lost to 2 low level of guys, and Murzakanov's one of the guys that I would have loved to have seen fought Pereira before, he had tested positive and all this time off. But I'm not saying that would have been an easy fight for either one of them. I just think it would have been a fun fight for us. Murzakanov round 1 knockout. Big shot is going to knock out Ribeiro. Moving on to the flyweight division, we have, speaking of tiny human beings, we have a tiny human being here in Joshua Van versus Bruno Silva. 2 tiny human beings, to be fair. They're both just midgets. Joshua Van is going to win this, and I would imagine quite easily. I would think he's going to just out-volume Bruno Silva. Just the entire fight. I'm going to be picking Joshua Van by KO. Probably going to end up being a decision, but I have round 3. I think he's going to land some good shots early in the fight, land some heavy body shots, and just do his normal Joshua Van thing. His takedown defense is going to be too good for Bruno Silva to genuinely get him down and hold him there over multiple rounds. He may be able to backpack him 1 round or something. And then Joshua Van's going to adjust and beat him. Yeah. Easy call, in my opinion. I think that Joshua Van has that fairly easily. Moving on to the welterweight division, we have Kevin Holland versus Vicente Luque. It's his first fight on the main card too. This is a tough fight to call, but I'm leaning with Holland. I've picked this man so much, and it always feels so bad to pick him. But it's impossible to pick against him, it feels like, because the talent level he has. He just doesn't have any work ethic. Kevin Holland should be able to keep Vicente Luque at the end of his punches, circle from range, and not really deal with many of the threats. I don't think Holland's going to be knocked out, that's for sure. He was getting wheel kicked in the face by Stephen Thompson and not getting knocked out, so I'm pretty sure he'll be safe in that sense. I could see him getting trapped in a front headlock series, like guillotine, Darce choke, anaconda, something like that maybe Vicente catches him with and submits him. But I'm just going to say that Holland ends up winning a decision. Winning a decision, huh? You know what? We're going to keep the excitement. We're going to go with a second round finish. Maybe Vicente Luque gives Holland some early troubles, and then Holland tags him right down the middle with a straight right and puts Vicente Luque to sleep. Yeah. I got Holland by round 2 KO. Moving to the bantamweight division, not featherweight, we've got Patchy Mix and Mario Batista. I think that Mario Batista... I had to wait on this thing to get up here. I think that Mario Batista is going to lose to Patchy Mix. I think it's going to be a very... I wouldn't say close fight, but I would say early on the competitiveness is going to look pretty close. And then I think that Patchy Mix is going to end up getting him down and submitting him. I could see this being a decision, actually. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to pick submission. I think maybe Patchy Mix is going to end up, maybe hurting Mario Batista to the body, forcing him to shoot or something, and then catching him in a choke. Maybe taking his back in some way, shape, or form and submitting him. I just think Patchy Mix is the real deal. He's, watching his career in Bellator, he was pretty solid. This dude was good. And he beat Rafian Stotts very easily, and that's a guy who I thought was actually decent. I know that's the same guy that got beaten by Merab by knockout, which now looking back at that's kind of sus, but it is what it is. Patchy Mix, submission, round 2. We move up to the middleweight division. We've got Joe Pyfer versus Kelvin Gastelum. Man, so many people are picking against Kelvin Gastelum. It's almost tempting to pick him, but he's moved back up to middleweight. It's just I can't pick this refrigerator to win a fight at middleweight against a dude the size of Joe Pyfer. I think Pyfer's going to beat him down. I think it will not be close. I think Kelvin Gastelum will give up. And I think it will be pretty quick in. I don't know. Maybe early round 2. Early round 2 knockout. Everything's round 2 on this card, it feels like. Yeah, I'm going to be picking Pyfer by round 2 knockout. I think that he's just going to be way too much for Kelvin Gastelum. Way too big, way too powerful. His striking is solid. His ground game's good. He's not going to be able to, Gastelum's not going to be able to take this fight to the ground and recover, That's going to be the problem for him. Pyfer by beatdown. Wonderful. We've got this beautiful card, or fight, on this card. We've got Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. Really? It's going with the favorite here. It's got Kayla Harrison by I don't know what. If you lost by submission to Jermaine Durandamy. Round 2 submission from Kayla Harrison. There you go. There's that. Moving on to the main event, we've got Merab Dvalishvili and Sean O'Malley. I genuinely don't know what to believe about this fight. O'Malley's done all this stuff to make himself more, more ready for the fight, quote unquote. He fixed the problems he had with his hip and his labrum. But Merab, like, I always pick against this dude. And he always wins because of his ridiculous cardio. And I'm pretty sure I even picked Sean in the first fight. And I'm just not sure how it works for this one. Like, this is the impossible one for me. Like, it's either Merab by decision or O'Malley by round like 2 or 3 knockout, maybe round 1. Like, a lot of O'Malley's like sparring sessions and everything like that looked really good for Dvalishvili. But it's just like, is he going to be able to adjust to the pressure that this little goblin can throw at you? I'm going to pick round 1 knockout for O'Malley and regret it on the night of the fight when Dvalishvili is just holding this man against the cage again. His performance against Umar was good. But the reason I always pick against Dvalishvili is this dude always, for one, goes to decision. So it gives so many other people opportunities to actually finish him. And they're close decisions at that. They're not just like one-sided landslides where Dvalishvili won all 5 rounds. It was 2-2 going into the 5th against Umar. O'Malley did good in the 5th round against Merab. Like, there were a couple rounds where O'Malley did good. And yeah, I think Dvalishvili gets clipped in this fight, and if he gets clipped, they're gonna stop it early. O'Malley's getting this belt back if he hurts Merab. If he hurts him. If he doesn't hurt him, well, Merab has won this fight. But I think he's gonna be able to hurt him. He's too long, too rangy. The power is there. He's dynamic. His takedown defense was good with a terrible hip, if this is all true. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. So I'm going to be picking O'Malley by round 1 knockout. And then we will move to the giveaway stuff. Here is what we'll be doing. So the group name is Hall Man We Gonna Have a Day. It's a throwback. Here's the Tapology group number. Here's how you join. You'll just need this URL in order to join the group. You have to like do an invitation join, but I can just or a request to join, but I can just accept it at any time. And like I said, whoever wins this event, I'll personally send out however many dollars in subscribers to my YouTube channel I have. So if it's still 8, if this MMA Joey 69 guy wins, I would send him $8. That's what we're hoping for. We're gonna try to find a way to do this the best way possible. But yeah, anyways, we're going to now move to how we've been doing on the channel lately. Last week's card, we did not do fantastic. Out of the 9 fights we had, we only got 5 of them right. I'll go back over it. We had Gamrot, Billy Ray Goff, Jacoby, Chasson, Zachary Reese, Thielho, Levitt, Balagiaki. Alice Ardeline winning the fight was crazy. But yeah, pretty good card overall, although not really. It was trash. Yeah. Terrible card. last week. We did terrible on the card. Hopefully with this new week we'll have a incredible card and beautiful things will happen. Anyways, that's it. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys maybe for a recap. I might start doing a recap on each pay-per-view, or on each fight, I mean. But yeah, join the Tapology group so that you can be ready in the giveaways. Bye, I guess.